Good morning.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Zach.
And together, we are...
Functionally literate.
That's right, we can read.
We can. Still.
Sometimes
for
it's
now.
a struggle. So for those of you joining us for the first time, this is the sixth story of the Chronicles of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. We are discussing Morte Arthur, Book 6. I am reading a very old version of the book that uses archaic language, and I am translating it into modern idiom for all of you lovely people out there to enjoy. Zach, on the other hand, is saving himself a lot of trouble.
Yes, I am reading something that has already been professionally rendered in modern idiom for my sake, and it's much nicer.
Yeah, but I'm like a masochist or something. I don't know. Maybe
That's
I hate
true,
myself.
he is.
I don't know. So yeah, you don't need to have read the story, modern or otherwise, to follow along. But if you'd like to, there are links in the episode description to my version of the book. You can download that for free. And there is also a link to Zach's version, which you'll likely have trouble getting a copy of. But any modern translation of Morte Arthur should be good enough for our purposes.
There's so much deviation in details anyway, just because of how things are translated and certain traditions in certain places based on where the author's from. You know, the Welsh version of the story is going to be different than the French version of the story, whatever.
Yeah.
Just find something that's close enough. I think the differences make it more interesting, not less.
So I'm going to recap like the history of all this, because I think that this will be a good jumping on point, because this story is the story of Sir Lancelot.
Arguably the second or third most important character in the entire story.
Very prolific Knight of the Round Table.
Yeah.
He was my favorite growing up. I think he was lots of people's favorite. And so this is the first story in the Arthurian legends that solely focuses on him.
That's right. He's been in stories, but this is his story.
This is his story. Yeah. So here's the history, right? So around like 6th or 7th century, there apparently was someone that Arthur was based off of, supposedly an actual person.
Mm-hmm.
And so then all of these stories were attributed to him, and this was in Ireland.
Yep.
Yeah. And so then there was also Irish gods. And because of Christianity rearing their head in, and there was this whole thing of Irish Celtic gods being... Their deification was removed, and they were made into mortal men. But they were, like, better than mortal men. They were knights.
Yeah,
they
heroes.
Yeah.
Powerful men.
Yeah.
But still mortal.
So all of these gods were adapted into men. And so those stories were bandied about, and they spread throughout Europe. And they were in the 10th century. There was this guy, Vulgate, who did his best to weave all of these stories together in something called the Vulgate cycle. Then a few years after that, there were some drastic rewrites into something called the post-Vulgate cycle. And so there's this large French text that's talking about all of these Arthurian legends. Thing is, it's really old, and there actually is not a complete version of that text in existence. It's been rebuilt as best people can, but that leads us to Morte Arthur. So Thomas Malory wrote this book. It is an abridgment of the post-Vulgate cycle that he translated back into English and wrote while he was in prison. This was his project while he was in prison. He wrote this in like 1470, or he finished writing it in 1470. He died before he could get it published, but it was around this time, I think it was like 1485. Don't quote me on that. The printing press was invented, right?
The old Gutenberg.
And so this guy, Robert Caxton, he was the first ever editor, and he published it. It was one of the first fictional stories that was widely mass published for public consumption.
Yeah. It would be difficult to explain the significance of how soon after the printing press was invented that this was printed. The first thing that was printed ever was the Bible.
Yeah.
This would have followed very shortly after. So that's how important these stories were to people of the time.
Yeah.
They were, just below.
Like, this was published right around the same time the Canterbury Tales was published.
Right.
Like, this was one of those texts that massively informed how the English language has been molded since then. The English language was very fluid before the printing press. Once books started getting mass published, it like kind of directly influenced how we interpret our own language. It kind of cemented it a lot.
Yeah, it standardized it some. People are like, oh, that's how they use that word. I guess I'll use it that way from now on now too.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was just kind of a brief history of the book. You know, like I mentioned before that it was kind of an abridgment. So the Vulgate cycle, about 3,000 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Le Morte d'Arthur, about 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
So it's really dense text because it's like just kind of, and it kind of explains a lot because I didn't realize that about how this story is written, because it's kind of just like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened, and it doesn't like spend a lot of time dwelling on anything.
Right.
And
well, and to think that 1,000 pages is the abridgment. Is like Charles Dickens is the short version of the story? I see. I'm reading David Copperfield, but there's another one out there that's way fucking longer.
Yeah.
No thanks.
So as far as the story itself goes, to enjoy what we're about to tell you, here's all you need to know. King Arthur is High King of Britain. He just recently was crowned Emperor of Rome, which is, for all intents and purposes,
Emperor of the world.
Yeah, the old world. He's married to Queen Guinevere, and he has over 100 knights that are of the Table Round, which is literally an enormous round table that can seat all of those knights. In addition to all the codes of chivalry that all knights are supposed to adhere to, the Knights of the Round Table are oath-bound not to be outrageous, or murder, or commit treason, to never be cruel, to always grant mercy to those who ask for it, else to be stripped of their honor and titles, to take no part in unlawful quarrels, to always help women in distress. That last one's the most important. If you're a Knight of the Round Table and you don't help women, that's grounds for execution.
That's right.
Yeah. If you want to know what it means to be outrageous, because I mentioned that, check out our episode of Le Morte d'Arthur 3, Part 2. Sir Gawain will forever be known to me as the sloppiest Chad in all of the lands.
Fair.
Enough said. Anyways, we are going to jump into Chapter 1 of the tale of Sir Lancelot.
How Sir Lancelot and Sir Lionel departed from the court, and how Sir Lionel left him sleeping and was taken.
So last time on the death of Arthur, King Arthur conquered the Roman Empire and went back home.
Mm-hmm. There was much celebrating.
Yep.
I mean, they'd been gone for a while.
They were gone for a long while.
They're...
I mean, it doesn't specify, but I imagine years.
Yeah, it takes a long time to conquer Rome.
Uh-huh.
So they finally get home, and it's all celebrations. We're glad we're home. Also, we're now getting paid this tribute from everywhere else in the world.
So they're rich, too.
They've probably never been this wealthy before. So they're on a high. I mean, their life is the best. So there's tournaments, there's feasts, there's parties.
There's jousting.
Everything is great.
Yeah.
And Lancelot is fucking sick of it.
He's bored. Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure how it's phrased in yours, but in mine says it, Lancelot tires of playing at arms.
Yeah. Yeah. It
I think
basically
it says
said
of
that.
merely playing at arms.
Now, here's the thing about Lancelot. He's the best. Like, nobody can beat him in tournaments.
The best.
Like, the only people that are gonna beat him in tournaments are either cheaters or sorcerers.
That's right.
Like, if you're just a normal knight...
For now, in this moment in history, to be fair, there will one day be a knight that is better than him, but that's a different...
Sure, and Merlin predicted that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that when we get to that. That's not in this story.
But today, Lancelot is the best of the best.
His fame, his honor was so high at this point that in this part of the story, in the Vulgate cycle, when it listed everyone who came back from Rome, Sir Lancelot's name was second only to King Arthur. Right? Because apparently the French book, it just listed off this huge list of knights that returned from Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Lancelot's was second listed.
Yeah.
So because of his reputation, Queen Guinevere favored him above all other knights.
That's true.
And he loved her more than any other ladies and damsels. To quote a character that I played last year at the Maplewood Barn, if one really loves a woman, all other women in the world become meaningless to one. Lord Darlington, 1893. Anyway, Lancelot loved Guinevere so much that he did many deeds of arms and saved her from the fire through his noble chivalry. So I know that many deeds of arms means, he went on quests for her and protected her honor in battle, but
Yep.
saved her from the fire, I'm less certain about.
So it is either a reference to a specific event in which she may have been burned and he saved her,
I feel like it's a metaphor.
or because none of that is brought up, right? The word "the," I think, is the important thing. It's a definite article. If it was saved from a fire, then you'd think, okay, it was just a fire.
Yeah.
But the fire, we're talking about a specific fire.
Yeah.
So I think it's meaning that his chivalry and his behavior in some way has elevated her and helped her on her way to salvation. He has saved her from hell.
Ah, interesting. Well, anyways, after the Roman campaign, Lancelot took some time for leisure, as you mentioned.
As you would need.
Yeah, I mean
you got some night terrors to work through. You got some PTSD to.
Yeah. But he got tired of all that.
Yeah.
So he was like, I want to go on some weird adventures. That's what I want to do. So he reaches out to his nephew, Sir Lionel, and he's like, hey, Lionel, make you ready. We're going to go seek adventures. So Lionel was like, oh, okay.
Well, and that's the playing at arms thing. Is if you're just jousting in a tournament, you're fighting for a tournament, it's like, it's all fun, whatever. It's dangerous fun. Somebody could die. But it's still all just boredom, basically. Whereas when you're on an adventure, you have a reason for this jousting.
There's real stakes.
Yeah, you're like, I'm jousting for this lady's actual honor, or to save her life, or to save my friend. Like, that's what I think Lancelot doesn't like. I don't want to just fight for the sake of fighting. I want a reason to fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's very noble of him.
So they armored up, him and Lionel. They got on their horses, and they rode deep into this forest, and deep into further beyond the forest, into plains. And they rode until high noon, right? They rode all morning. And then it was really hot at noon.
It's noon. You're on the plains. In the forest, it's shady. Not out here.
Lancelot got sleepy, which I can relate to. So Lionel saw an apple tree, and he was like, brother, there's some good shade. We can rest over there. So I want to mention here, this is the bit that confuses me, right? So at the beginning of this story, it clearly says that Sir Lionel is Lancelot's nephew. But throughout the rest of the story, they always refer to each other as brethren or kin or brothers. So that is confusing.
They're brothers in arms.
Brothers in arms.
They're brothers in the same way that all knights are brothers with other knights. So while he's like biologically that's his nephew, if they've both been knighted, then we are brothers.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Because Lancelot says, well said, brother. In 8 years, I have never been as tired as I am now. So they, dismount their horses.
That's another interesting characterization of Lancelot, is that he just went through a brutal fucking war.
He did.
And got home and got to rest up. And today is the most tired he's ever been.
It's interesting, isn't it?
And so I think that speaks less to a physical tiredness and more to a weariness of the soul.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have purpose. That's why he doesn't like the playing at arms. There's no purpose in it. For a lot of guys, the purpose is winning, but he's like, I do that without trying.
It is very unlike Lancelot to take a nap. And
so it's this moment where he's like, I've left what I thought was useless, and I have found nothing better to do. I'm out in the wilderness, that's the chaos of the world. I'm out where everything could happen and animals could kill you, and still I have nothing to fucking do.
Yeah.
I think this tiredness is more like a depression. He's like, I have nothing else to do. I'll just take a nap. I'm done.
I think that lines up, especially when we get into how he behaves throughout the rest of this story.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, I'm tired. Lionel finds this apple tree, and so, they tie their horses up to the tree. Lancelot lays down, using his helmet as a pillow.
Love that.
That's absurd.
So there's actually a World War II memoir written by a Marine, which is why it's the greatest ever, because Marines rock.
What gave you that idea? The Marines are the best ever?
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah. For no reason.
No reason at all?
Nope.
Nope.
No relation.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's by E.B. Sledge, and the title of the book is Helmet for My Pillow.
Helmet for My Pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have before used a helmet as my pillow. It's not the most comfortable. If you could like fold up a t-shirt or something over it, just to like give you something soft to be
Some
on.
padding.
But it is generally the right shape to keep your neck in line, so it's actually more comfortable to see.
If it's padded.
Well, yeah, if it's not padded, it'll do. But it's not great.
But also, this is a knight's helmet.
Yeah, way worse. Way worse than just like a Kevlar helmet.
So, yeah, Lancelot takes a nap, and Lionel just kind of stays awake, watching over him.
What do you think the significance of it being an apple tree is?
You know, I didn't think about it. Well, it's got fruit. It's a convenient place to nap because when you wake up, there's snacks.
True.
As far as like a metaphorical, like some kind of symbolism or something, I could not say. What do you think?
Well, so the only things that I could think of, and yes, this is going to tie back to Christianity, but it's a Christian story that we're reading, or at least a Christianized
There's
story,
a lot of Christian elements.
is the apple is often associated with the forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
Right? That's the fruit that Eve ate.
Yep.
So you're not supposed to eat apple tree. The tree that has apples is the forbidden tree.
The apple.
And now he's sleeping underneath it, which seems like a metaphor for temptation. You know, like you're putting yourself in the position to do the thing you're not supposed to do.
I mean, it is a ridiculous thing that this guy is taking a nap out in the open.
Yes.
Under a tree.
So it's risky.
Very.
But there's also a lot of the times in the gospel, Jesus refers to bearing fruit, the tree that bears fruit. He even curses a fig tree that doesn't have fruit, even though it's out of season. Like it would be unreasonable for that tree to be in fruit, but he says it's cursed because I have come and you have not borne fruit. And so there could be a positive side to the metaphor, which is that Lancelot has borne fruit. And this is the sort of physical manifestation of that. Is it's Lancelot is the fruit-bearing tree. He's honorable, he's noble, he's the good Christian.
It is interesting that we are starting with Lancelot's story when he's already a very well-established knight. Yeah. Like, this is a post-Roman campaign Lancelot.
Yes. He's already the hero of the nation.
Yeah.
The love of Queen Guinevere.
Yeah.
And now we're like, oh, I guess we should tell you about it. Okay.
So, Lancelot's taking his cat nap. And while that was happening, Lionel saw a very interesting display. He sees 3 knights on horseback fleeing from one knight also on horseback. And he thought to himself that he'd never seen a greater knight do so well or be so well dressed. He saw this knight catch up to the other 3 and just laid a smite on each and every one of them. So for those of you joining us for the first time and may not know, a smite is when you hit someone with your weapon. So there's a lot in that in these stories. The past tense,
smiting.
The past tense is smote. It sounds silly, and that's part of the fun. We're going to talk about how knights are smoting a lot. It's very fun. Anyway, this man who got smote fell down still. And the well-dressed knight then moved on to the second knight, striking him down, and the horse. And then he went on to the third, and smote him behind his horse's ass a spear length.
I think it hit him from behind a spear length away.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounded like, to me, he stabbed the guy's horse in the ass.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So anyways, this night he dismounts his horse. He ties up the 3 knights using the reins from all of their horses' bridles.
That's just insult to injury.
Yeah.
Tying you up with your own stuff.
Lionel sees all of this, and he thought to himself, I want to fight that guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all a contest of arms. It's all a dick measuring contest. Yeah. Who's better? Yep. Who's the coolest? Yep. That guy just beat 3 dudes. If I beat him, it is as if I beat those 3 too.
Yeah. Yeah. So he gets up, he quietly mounts his horse, careful not to wake his uncle, right?
Yep.
He rides over to the knight and he says, hey, turn around. I want to fight you. In response, the knight smote Sir Lionel so hard that both he and his horse fell down. And then he tied Lionel up and threw him on the back of his horse and rode off with all 4 of the knights to his castle. When he got there, and I want to quote this specifically and tell you how I interpreted it. He unarmed them and then beat them with thorns all naked and then threw them in the dungeon. So my interpretation of this is he stripped them down to their birthday suits, beat them with thorns until they were bruised and bloody, and threw them in the dungeon. That's my interpretation.
I believe that is the correct interpretation.
What the fuck?
I mean, this guy's obviously a bad guy.
He's got some issues.
Like, up until that moment, you think, oh, this is just a really good night. Like, he's taking people prisoner. They're going to go, swear allegiance to his lady, and then they'll leave or whatever. And then it's like, no, strip. You're like, what? I said fucking strip. And then he just pulls out this lash of thorns. And you're like, what are you going to do with that? Ah! And he just starts beating you with it. You're like, oh, this is a villain. This is not a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Super villainous knight who just like really fucks these guys up, humiliates them, and throws them in the dungeon. Who I imagine in the dungeon are just bloody and cold and dying of sepsis because dungeons are dirty places.
He is both the worst. He's the worst kind of villain because he's the best kind of villain.
Yeah.
In that he is a villain that is competent.
This is his kick the dog moment.
Yeah, it's one thing to have a villain that's like a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
And you're like, we can fix that.
But this guy's a good fighter.
Right. And so it's like, this is the villain that's really good at what he does. You're like, fuck, how are we going to beat that guy?
Yeah.
Like, that's hard now. Yeah. It's the evil genius. Like, how do we outthink him? He's too fucking smart.
He's too good.
So it's a fantastic villain. I love it.
This adventure went south so fast. Like,
so fast.
Literally the first chapter.
That's what happens when Lancelot goes to sleep. When he is not paying attention, when he is not being diligent, things go to shit.
I want to mention, by the way, that whole chapter in the original text, 3 paragraphs. Everything I just told you, 3 paragraphs.
I think mine was like 2 pages. Really expounded on what was going on there.
Well, these paragraphs were super long, had no formatting.
Oh, okay. So that was just Caxton being terrible.
Well, yeah, and also, like, whenever people talk, quotation marks don't exist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's got to be really
Makes
tough.
it super difficult to format and translate this crap. It's easier at this point. We're 6 stories in out of 21.
You've got quite a bit of experience in it now.
But like to the point where I don't even think about how it's originally formatted, but this time I got to thinking about it, and so I've included
It just sucks.
how many paragraphs each chapter is.
Now I'm realizing this formatting is dick. It's
just
awful.
It's shit prose too. It really is.
It was great for the 15th century. Maybe. I don't know.
Chapter 2. How Sir Ector followed for to seek Sir Lancelot, and how he was taken by Sir Turquoise.
So now we turn our attention to one Mr. Sir Ector de Maris, brother to Sir Lionel. So I want to be clear here. In the very first story, there was a Sir Ector.
Yes.
That is King Arthur's adopted father.
Yes.
I thought when I was reading this at first that was the same character here.
This is not the same Sir Ector.
I was very confused. I was like, why the fuck does Sir Ector care about any of this? But no, this guy is Lionel's brother, and that's why he cares.
Yes.
Because he hears that Lionel and Uncle Lancelot left King Arthur's court to go looking for adventures, and he was like, without me?
Yeah. I thought I was Uncle Lancelot's favorite.
Yeah. So he rides out, and after riding for a long time in a big forest, he finds a forester. And he says, hey man, you know of any adventures nearby in this country? And the forester's like, sir, I know the area pretty well. Within a mile of here, there's a fortified manor with a ditch. That means there's a castle with walls and
a moat.
A dry moat.
Yeah.
Apparently, fun fact, most moats don't have water in them.
No, the logistics of filling them with water is actually very complicated. And then keeping it filled.
Yeah.
Very hard to do.
But so it was common for them to have ditches, and these ditches are not like runoff ditches like you would have next to a road. These are like deep trenches around
big.
Your castle.
Yeah, you're talking like 15 feet across, like 10, 15 feet deep.
So there's still a bridge you have to cross to get in.
Right.
Near there on the left, there's a ford with a big tree. On the tree are many shields wielded by sometimes good knights. From the hole of the tree, there hangs a basin of copper and latten. You hit that 3 times with the butt of your spear, and you'll have some adventure. But unless you're the hottest shit that ever plopped through this forest, you may want to think twice before you touch that basin. Sir Ector thanked him and looked for this manor, because that's not going to dissuade him. He's a knight.
No. He said, I am the hottest shit.
He is the hottest shit. He's a fucking knight of the round table,
that's
damn it.
Right.
There's only about a little over 100 of those.
Yeah, so my version describes it as a cauldron, not a basin. But
that makes more sense.
It's just a big pot, basically. And he's like, it's sitting under this tree with all these shields hanging up. And the shields belong to knights that used to be very notable. And if you go and you hit that,
That makes more sense.
see what happens.
I was picturing like a absurdly large gravy boat hanging from this tree because it made no sense.
I mean, really anything metal that's going to make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
You're just ringing the bell. Come on, adventure. Let's go.
Yeah, so Hector's like, okay, well, thank you for letting me know about this castle. And then he goes looking for it. And sure enough, he found, just like the forester described, within a mile of there, he found a manor and a tree, and there were loads of shields hanging from it. Notably, his brother's shield, as well as the shields of many knights of the Round Table. So in that moment, Sir Ector decided that he was the hottest shit to ever plop through the country. So in his rage and grief, he promised to avenge his brother, and he beats on this cauldron, I'm going to go with cauldron, with his spear.
I like the imagery of the cauldron better because cauldrons typically have like a connotation of spookiness and evil about it.
Uh-huh.
You know, like witches have cauldrons. Moms and sweet old grandmas have pots, but witches have cauldrons.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the cauldron better.
So he beats on this cauldron to summon his enemy. And then while he's waiting, he rides his horse into the ford to drink. And then the knight appears behind him and asks him to come out of the river and fight him. So Sir Ector spins around on his horse and just straight up hurls his spear at the knight. And it hit him hard enough that it like made him have to like him and his horse spin around a couple times to like maintain their balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the knight faces Ector and he's like, nice shot. You actually hit me. And then he rushes Ector, grabs him by his right armpit, and just pulls him up out of his saddle. Rides away from the horse and throws him down on the ground.
The arm strength
Yeah.
required to lift a grown man
By his armpit.
in a suit of armor
Yeah.
off his horse.
No fucking joke, dude. And so it's at this point, the narrative kindly tells us that this jackass is named Sir Turquine, who says to Ector, you have done more to me today than any knight has done in 12 years. For this, I grant you your life, so long as you swear to be my prisoner for the rest of your days. So I interpret this to mean, like, if you swear fealty to me, you'll be like my unwilling squire or something.
That would be what it sounds like. So in my version, it happens similar. There's a more extended fight. They both get dismounted.
Uh-huh.
They fight for a long time, and then it's like, you know, it's the typical Mallory scene where it's like, and they hack through their armor, and now they're both standing there,
Bloody and
with
bruised.
lots of gashes and everything. They're all gross at looking now, and everyone's real tired. And they finally, Sir Ector loses, and Sir Turquine is like, hey, like, fucking well done, man. That was good stuff. I'll tell you, if you surrender, you'll still be my prisoner, but like, life will be comfortable. You know, like you'll have a room, we'll dress your wounds, you can eat, like everything's good. If not, it's fucking business as usual for you. And Ector's like, I'll never quit. And so he ends up doing the same thing to Ector, where he's like, all right, strips him naked, whoops his ass, throws him in the dungeon.
Yeah. Like, in my version, Ector specifically says, I will not swear that, even if it would benefit me to do so. Turquine is like, that's a shame. And then, strips him naked, beats his ass, throws him in the dungeon.
And he goes, oh, Sir Lionel's here.
Like, I'm just so confused why this guy is humiliating all these knights like this. Like, yeah, take off the armor, throw him in the dungeon, sure, whatever. But strip them naked and beat them with thorns? Like, that is fucked up.
It reminds me of Ender's Game, the movie, not the book. I haven't read the book. I know. I'm ashamed.
No, don't be ashamed. It's fine. Go
the
ahead.
The movie is very good.
The movie's all right.
I loved it. But anyway, before he gets selected to go to the space station to train, like there's the kids that bully him at school, and he like fucks the kid up with the weird statue that was in the classroom, and then he's on the ground and he just starts kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Even though he's already won the fight, and so then Harrison Ford
he wanted
was
to
like,
win all the fights.
He was like, what was that about? And he goes, the first hit won the fight. Every hit after that was to win every other fight in the future.
Yep.
That's what I think he's doing. He's like, yeah, I beat you, but I don't want you to heal up and come back with some weird vengeance, and eventually I'm going to be old and I'm going to lose. So I'm just going to humiliate the shit out of you and lock you up. I win forever now.
Yeah. So Ector sees Lionel in the dungeon and he cries out, where's my brother Lancelot? And Lionel's like, brother, he was napping under an apple tree when I saw him last. I don't know what has become of him since then. And Ector's like, damn, only Sir Lancelot can help us now. We know now that no other knight can match our master Turquoise. And that's the end of the chapter.
That's
Just
it.
really establishing, like, man, only Lancelot can save
Lancelot. Only the guy asleep
us. Under a tree.
under the tree right now could save us.
Our hero is snapping.
This is what happens. I get the sense that Lancelot is sort of the Arthurian Superman.
Yeah, he does seem reminiscent to, like, Thor in those Norse tales.
A lot of these adventures are, we have this problem only because Lancelot is unavailable.
Yep.
And so the gimmick in the narrative is, how do we make Lancelot unavailable so that we can have a problem? So that we have tension.
They come up with a pretty good gimmick here
You
in a
know,
minute.
because like the Justice League has to do that with Superman too, where they're like, we got to
Oh.
introduce some weird fucking thing.
Superman's off planet right now.
Right. And
Sorry.
it's going to take him 2 weeks to get back, so we have to make it for 2 weeks. And then,
Yeah.
and then he Deus Ex Machinas it all. But like, that's the problem when you make somebody too good. Lancelot's too good.
Yeah.
He's got to go be asleep.
Yeah.
Why? Because otherwise Sir Lionel never would have been captured.
Never.
If he was awake, he'd have whooped Tarquin's ass, or you'd been like, wow, Lancelot's a little bitch. This whole time we thought he was super cool and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So those are your only options.
There's
You
no
either-
tension here
yeah,
otherwise.
you got to bring Lancelot down, or you got to find a way to like shuffle him off to the side and distract him.
Yeah. By the way, this chapter, 2 paragraphs.
Nice.
Chapter 3. How 4 queens found Lancelot sleeping, and how by enchantment he was taken and led into a castle.
So meanwhile, under the apple tree, our hero is still sleeping.
Still asleep.
While he's sleeping, 4 queens come across him riding mules, which strikes me a bit odd that queens are riding mules.
It is odd.
But just as simply as the voice of Camelot said, these 4 queens appear, and they're riding along with 4 knights. Each of the knights has a spear with a green flag on it. And the queens discover Sir Lancelot because his horse gave him away. His horse neighed grimly. I asked my horse friend about this. What does a grim neigh sound like? And she thought about it. She was like, well, horses have a pretty good vocal range. It was probably just like a low, like a bassy neigh.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay. What do you think that sounds like?
You know, I've not spent hardly any time around horses.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could believe that horses have a pretty sophisticated way of communicating emotion.
Yeah. So they hear this horse neigh, and they turn, and they see this knight sleeping under an apple tree, and they look at his face and recognize him immediately as Sir Lancelot. And so then these queens start arguing immediately. They all wanted his love. They all wanted him to be with them specifically, right? And so they're like, I want him, me, no me. And so then one of these queens was Morgan Le Fay.
Bump, bump, bump.
She's like, we shall not argue. By the way, this is how we're made aware that this queen is Morgan Le Fay. It's just like, oh, these 4 queens rode up and they all started arguing. And then the narrative's like, we shall not argue, said Queen Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah.
It always does that. Like, that's how it introduces people. It's not like, oh yeah, this queen was this queen was this queen was this.
Right.
It only ever mentions their names when it's relevant. Right? So
Mhm.
this is the first time Morgan speaks. So this is how we know that one of the queens is
Right.
Morgan.
If she had never said anything, we wouldn't have known.
Yeah. This episode is not brought to you by pronunciation. This woman that is laughing with me, this is Jackie. Jackie, you have not met yet, but she and I have recently finished discussing The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Ooh, coming soon,
So
baby.
that's something for you to look forward to. And during those episodes, Jackie informed me that I have been saying the name of this book wrong.
I know, I'm so sorry. I debated whether to bring it up to you because I didn't want to look like an asshole, but I am afraid I'm just going to have to.
So for everyone at home, what is the correct way to pronounce the death of Arthur in French?
So it would be Lemore Darthur.
Lemore Darthur.
Lemore Darthur.
No Morte,
Not La Morte d'Arthur.
not D. Arthur.
No.
Lemore Darthur.
Wait.
Lemore Darthur.
Yeah.
That is the correct way to pronounce it. And these episodes were recorded a while ago, so we're not going to correct the pronunciation anytime soon.
No.
But when we get to story 7, when we get to Le Morte 7, then we will pronounce it correctly.
Thank God. Finally. Listen, I listen to these religiously.
Yeah, those are favorite episodes. It's lovely to meet a fan in person.
I get a real kick out of them, and everything is perfect about them, except that one thing.
Anyway, as you can tell, we don't have sponsors.
No.
We have a patron. We have a single patron. His name is Josh Hughes. We love and appreciate him.
Love you, Joshy.
He is the reason why we are able to do this show currently, because he, with his patronage, pays for our membership costs at Vidwest Studios. If you're an executive reader like Josh, that means that you get to listen to these episodes as I finish editing them. However, if you are just a functional reader, that's the basic $1 tier, then you get to listen to these episodes ad-free. We don't have ads, but we have this mid-break here where I ask you to sign up for the Patreon. So if you would like to no longer have to listen to this bit, give me $1 per month.
Just $1?
Per month.
That's about, what, $12 a year?
Yeah.
Less than what Josh pays per month.
That's right.
You could be a supporter at a functional level.
Now, that said, I would appreciate it if you gave me a little more than $1, because, Patreon takes a little bit of the money out. But, they gotta get their money.
So like $1.37 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
What else are you doing with
Exactly. $1 and change.
Smash open your piggy bank, baby.
Please. Alternatively, if you like this mid-break, or if you just want to support one time, you can give a one-time donation on our PayPal. Anyways, back to the story of Sir Lancelot.
Woo! Goodbye!
So anyway, she says to the other queens, I will put a spell on him. He will not wake for 6 hours. I will have our knights take him away to my castle. When he is in my power, I'll lift the spell. Then he can choose which one of us he'll take as a lover. And, so she said, so it was.
Solid plan.
She cast sleep on this guy. The knights put him on his shield and carried him over to his horse, secured him to the back of his horse. And then he was led along with 2 knights on horseback side by side of his horse, just guiding him to Morgan's castle.
Now, to be fair, this is generally a pretty honorable way to transport somebody. Like, this is not, if they'd have just thrown him over the, ass of the horse, or some guy would have just chucked him up on a shoulder, that would have been seen as kind of emasculating. But this is how you would bring like a war hero who had died back home. So they're treating him very reverently here.
Well, I mean, they do want him to,
right. That's what I'm saying.
To love them.
Even though they're like, we're going to coerce him into a relationship with us, they're still treating him respectfully, at least physically.
Right. So they get him to Morgan's castle. One of her many castles, by the way.
Yeah, she's got a lot of castles. Okay. She's a sorceress queen.
Yeah. They put him in this cold bedroom, and he wakes up that evening, and this damsel comes into his room bringing him dinner. He was wide awake, very confused, and she salutes.
As you would be if you went to sleep under an apple tree and woke up in a castle.
Yeah, because like when he wakes up, he's not wearing his armor or anything either. He doesn't have his weapons. He's just in this bedroom. She comes in, salutes him, and says, "How are you?" And he's like, "I'm not sure, fair damsel.
I couldn't tell you.
I
know what's going on.
I don't know how I got here unless it was by magic." And she's like, "Sir, you must be well. If you're the knight everyone says you are, I'll tell you more tomorrow at dawn." And so he thanks her for her goodwill and is left with his dinner, and he just kind of stayed up all night thinking, because he'd got his 8 hours in at this point. Yeah. Like, his sleep schedule's fucked.
And there's a lot of stuff going on. Right? You'd be a little anxious.
Yeah.
If you're just like, where am I? And the girl who brought you food is like, I'll tell you tomorrow. And you're like, what the fuck you mean tell me tomorrow?
What am I doing here? What's going on?
And then they just leave, and you're like, shit.
So in the morning, these 4 queens, they come into his bedroom looking very pretty. Like, they dolled themselves up.
Oh, yeah, it's competition here.
Yeah. And so all of them are like, "Good morning, Lancelot." And he's like, "Good morning."
You know what this is like?
Yeah.
This is like the Greek myth when the 3 goddesses made...
the Troy story?
Yeah.
This is very like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they made... Well, which one was it? Was it...
It was some guy
I can't remember the prince's name. Was it Paris?
Sounds right.
It was Hector's younger brother, but I
Yeah,
can't remember his name. I think it was Paris. He had to choose between Aphrodite, Athena,
Yeah,
and
like he had like
Hera, and he picked Aphrodite so that he could get the love of.
Yeah, he had
Helen.
like some special thing like that he could give as a gift to a woman, and all three of these goddesses wanted it, and they were like,
well, they wanted him to pick who was the most beautiful.
"No, that's what it was." Yeah, yeah.
And they all made him promises. And Aphrodite promised he would have the most beautiful woman in the world if he picked her, so he did. And
Yeah.
that was Helen of Sparta, who became Helen of Troy, which
Right.
is what started the Trojan War.
This is very.
But this is
similar.
like that. There's these queens that are like, we want Lancelot's
Yeah.
love.
So
Pick one.
So Morgan, she's like, Sir Knight, you must understand that you are our prisoner. I think that was pretty self-evident. But
Yeah.
we know that you are Sir Lancelot du Lake, son of King Bon, and because we know your worth, that you are the noblest knight living, we know that you love no lady except one, and that lady is Queen Guinevere. You shall lose her forever, and she you. It would behoove you to choose one of us to love. I am the Queen Morgan Le Fay of the land of Gore. My companions are the Queen of North Gallis, the Queen of Eastland, and the Queen of the Outer Isles. Now choose which one of us you will take as a lover. If you don't, you will remain imprisoned in this room until you die. Like, ladies, I think it would not behoove you to behave this way. Frankly.
There are some men who might respond positively to this.
Maybe. Lancelot's not one of them.
I don't think most.
No.
Certainly not if that man is already in a relationship with another woman happily.
Yeah.
That would be the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this were a single guy that liked strong, domineering women, you nailed it. This
Yeah.
is his fantasy.
Yeah.
But if you take like a happily married man and you're like, all right, ditch your wife for me, like this isn't going to work.
I mean, to be fair, Lancelot's not married.
No, I know. But
And at this
is-
point in the story,
in
it's,
his mind, he might as well be.
yeah, at this point in the story, it's unclear what his relationship to Guinevere is
Yes.
romantically.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't explicitly gotten into any of that.
Yeah, it implies that there's a romantic relationship, but it doesn't specify that it's physical
Yeah.
or anything like that. But he is a noble knight. For him, it is all one and the same.
This is put to him, and he
Yeah.
says, you give me a hard choice to die in here or choose one of you. But I would rather die in this prison with God than take one of you as a lover.
Damn
That
right.
is my answer. I'll have none of you, for you're all lying witches. And my lady, Dame Guinevere, is the truest lady living.
He's a man of principle.
He's like,
okay?
fuck you all, you're witches. God's on my side.
At the very least, he's not wrong about Morgan Le Fay. She is a witch.
Yeah.
She's literally a witch.
And Morgan, of course, is pissed. She's like, that's your answer? You refuse us? And he's like, yes. On my life, you will not have me. So the chapter ends with them leaving him alone in that bedroom crying. By the way, would you like to take a guess how many paragraphs that chapter was?
I give it 4.
3.
3.
3 paragraphs.
Oh my God.
This is an interesting moment, right? On one level, it's like, oh, poor Lancelot, boo-hoo, so many women love him. But like,
Yeah.
on
That's what I'm
another-
saying. A lot of guys would fantasize about like 4 women captured me and they're going to force me to pick one of these beautiful women to be with forever.
But when
Oh,
you
no.
take this to an extreme, like really think about that. These women, they are so madly taken by you, by how strong you are, how powerful you are, that they kidnap you and tell you that you can't leave this room unless you love one of them.
And not to get too deep into the whole feelings thing, because we're dudes, we don't do that. But
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
it's not like these women love Lancelot.
No, it's the idea of him.
They don't know anything about this
No.
man other than the heroic tales that they've heard.
Yeah.
They're like, he's fucking strong, he's handsome, he's got a lot of notoriety.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like the women that are like, oh, I love Justin Timberlake. It's like, no, you don't. You don't know Justin
You
Timberlake.
have no idea who that guy fucking is.
Okay, you think he's cute and you fantasize about what your life with him might be like, but you don't love him.
No.
That's not the same.
No.
You have to know something to love it.
Yeah.
So when they're like, you will love us. He goes, I don't know you. I don't want to know you. You suck.
It is.
I will die.
It is. There's like lately there's been a lot of chatter like socially about parasocial relationships.
Mhm.
That's what this is.
Yes.
This is a parasocial relationship. He doesn't fucking know them, except maybe Morgan.
Yeah. And he might know her in the way that, like, you know your
He
friend's
probably
little
heard
sister.
that story about how, like, King Arthur's sister's a fucking bitch that threw away the sheath to Excalibur. But,
Right.
like, that's pretty much all he knows.
You're like, Morgan Le Fay, that chick Merlin didn't like?
Mm.
Interesting.
I don't know.
It's a tough spot. Like, it seems on the surface, you'd be like, oh, boo-hoo, Lancelot. But this does suck for him.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I have to choose between betraying my love for an actual woman, my virtuous love for an actual woman, because we have no reason right now to believe that it's crossed into adultery yet. It will.
It will, but we
don't know that it has
that.
yet. So virtuous, affection for a good woman, or die in isolation. Like, those are your, betray that totally good and normal feeling that you should have.
Yeah.
Or die alone.
And he was like, God is with me. Fuck you, witches.
And as long as the relationship had not yet crossed into adultery, he would be right.
Yeah.
Chapter 4. How Sir Lancelot was delivered by the mean of a damsel.
So around noon that day, the damsel from last night brought him lunch. She asked him again, what cheer? How are you? And he's like, honestly, this is the worst day of my life.
What did you expect? This sucks.
She's like, I'm sorry, sir. If you will do as I say, I'll help you out of this mess. You will not be shamed or have to do anything bad, but you will owe me a favor. And he's like, all right, I could do you a favor.
It sounds great.
I'm afraid of these witch queens. They've been the ruin of many good knights. I don't know how he knows that. They don't get into that. Maybe
Well, I mean, at the very least, Morgan Le Fay was the ruin of Sir Accolon.
Uh-huh.
And
Sure was.
ultimately will prove the ruin of King Arthur.
We'll get into that when we get into that. But yeah, it's true. I imagine he's heard stories of Morgan. Maybe these other queens are like Morgan's usual entourage, who's to say?
Yeah, could be.
So he's like, they have been the ruin of many good knights. And she's like, that is so. For your fame, they want your love. Sir, they say you are Sir Lancelot, the flower of knights. They are very angry with you for refusing them. You must promise me that you'll help my father next Tuesday. He was to be in a tournament against the King of North Galles, but last Tuesday he was defeated by 3 of King Arthur's knights. So what it specifically says was last Tuesday he lost the field through 3 of King Arthur's knights. So I take that to mean he lost this tournament.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
3 knights fought on behalf of the King of North Galles. Interesting that his queen is one of the 4 keeping Lancelot prisoner right now.
I picked up on that too, and I wondered about that.
So this is a sort of like, I mean, even Lancelot probably would have agreed to this anyway, because he doesn't have to do anything unbecoming,
Yeah.
and he gets out. But also, this is like a,
So I benefit here
I get to take a little bit of vengeance out on this lady
by
by proxy without having to
proxy.
harm her, because
Yeah.
that would be unchivalrous.
I will defeat her
But-
husband
but
in
I'll
battle.
embarrass her husband. That'll teach her.
So she's like, tomorrow morning, by the grace of God, I will help you escape cleanly. And the next Tuesday, you will help my father. Lancelot's like, fair maiden, tell me who your father is before I answer yes or no.
Fair. You want to know that the guy you're going to work for is a good guy.
Right. So she's like, Sir Knight, my father is King Bagdemagus, who was greatly ridiculed at the last tournament. So Bagdemagus has come up before. He wasn't a king back then. So this is one of King Arthur's cousins.
Yeah.
While back, he was passed up on an opportunity to become a Knight of the Round Table, and he was like, all right, well, fuck that. If I'm not worthy, I'm going to go out on adventures until I am worthy.
That's right.
And then he was eventually made a Knight of the Round Table. So sometime between now and then, he was made a king.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you're family to the High King,
Yeah.
it's probably going to happen something.
And he was a lord or something.
Right. He
before then
already had
anyways.
nobility.
Yeah.
It could have just been as simple as his dad died, and he's like, now I'm the king.
Yeah. To be a knight, by the way, in case you didn't already know, you have to be a landholder. Like, if you didn't already own land, the act of being knighted gives you land.
They would be like, and now this is your land.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have land.
Yeah. So She tells him that her father is King Bagdemagus, and Lancelot's like, I know your father well. By my faith and my body, I will serve you and your father next Tuesday. Which, by the way, I just think that's so amusing. Just like, yeah, I'm going to go help your father on Tuesday. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know him. He's a good guy. I got this.
And so she's like, sir, thank you. Wait and be ready tomorrow morning. I will save you and take you to your armor and your horse, shield, and spear. 10 miles from here is an abbey of white monks. There, I ask that you wait for me, and then I shall bring my father to you. So white monks I take to mean, like, Christian acolytes?
If I remember correctly, it is the Dominicans that wear white habits.
Dominicans.
The Dominican order.
Okay.
So the order founded by Saint Dominic.
Okay. That makes sense.
So I believe that is what she's referring to. The most famous of Dominicans would be Saint Thomas Aquinas.
Okay.
The famous medieval scholar.
So Lancelot says in response to her, all this shall be done, as I am a knight of my word. The next morning, she found him ready to go. She helped him get past 12 locked doors to reach his armor and then his horse. And so once he was armed and on horseback, he took a spear and he said to the girl, fair damsel, I shall not fail you by the grace of God. And so he escapes. He rides through a great big forest all day. Unfortunately, he couldn't find a road. And this lady did not give him directions.
Yeah, she only gave you a distance.
Yeah.
So in mine, it specifies, and I think it's weird that it specifies, so it must mean something. At least I am too stubborn to admit that it might not. That they escaped through 12 doors.
Yeah.
Why 12?
I don't know.
The only thing I could think of is that in Christian numerology, 12 is one of many numbers, but one of the numbers that signifies like a completeness or a totality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why there were 12 tribes of Israel. That's why Jesus had 12 apostles. Moses supposedly lived to 120 years exactly. That was 10 times 12.
Uh-huh.
So that was complete.
Mm-hmm.
10 years being like a phase of life. So he had
These
completed
12
the phases of life.
Yeah.
So if that is what that is, then the 12 is just like, it was a complete escape. He escaped in all ways.
And perhaps with the approval of God.
Right. And that it might have been in reference to like the fact that she was magical. Like if he had only escaped through 11 doors, maybe there was still some bit of enchantment that like clung to him that could have been a problem later. You know, but he got through all 12. He's free completely from Morgan Le Fay.
Interesting. Which is accurate because Morgan's not really a factor after this.
No, she doesn't really come up again.
So he rides all day, right? And he has no idea where the fuck he's going.
It's 10 miles from here in whatever direction.
I mean, that's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
So by dusk, he found himself in this little valley with a pavilion made of red sendal, which is like a thin, lightweight, silky material. It's usually used like to make flags or banners or ceremonial
Mine just said
clothing.
red silk. So you got a cool new vocabulary word. Mine just said it was red silk.
Well, there you go. Well, I had to look up what sendal meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like something that, it's a very fancy material. He finds this red pavilion, which is like a big fancy tent, right? Lancelot, for reasons that escape me, decides to sleep in that pavilion. He tied his horse to it, went on in, took off his armor, found a bed in there, and went to sleep in a low mood.
See, bad things happen when he goes to sleep. Stop going to sleep. Maintain awareness, Lancelot.
Just don't, or better yet, don't go sleeping in someone else's pavilion.
Yeah, that's like going on a hike and you see someone else's tent and you're like, I could use a nap.
I'm gonna go sleep
and you
in
just
that
climb
tent.
in.
Like, that's fucking nuts.
Okay.
And
asking to get murdered.
So yeah, Lancelot fucked around.
Chapter 5. How a knight found Sir Lancelot lying in his leman's bed, and how Sir Lancelot fought with the knight.
So fun fact, audience. Layman is another word for lover. So yeah, he found out what happens when you sleep in another man's bed. So as it turns out, this pavilion belongs to a knight called Lord Bellius. This was his pavilion. he was expecting his lady in that bed. So he turns up an hour after Lancelot did. He gets undressed. He slips into bed with Lancelot, took him in his arms, and starts kissing him. This genuinely made me cackle this next bit. When Lancelot felt a rough beard kissing him, he jumps out of bed like, what the fuck? Why are you kissing me?
It'd be very disconcerting.
And Bellius jumps out of the bed like, what the fuck? You're not my lady. And so naturally they got in a fight. Lancelot grabs his sword, runs out of the pavilion. Bellius grabs his sword, goes after him. The fight was brief because despite everything, Lancelot's still a badass. He is still the better fighter.
Always.
He gave Bellius a wound that untreated would kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So Bellius is like, I yield. Lancelot's like, I grant it, if only because I must know why you got into the bed and started getting frisky with me. And Bellius is like, sir, this is my pavilion. I was going to sleep with my lady in that bed, and now I'm going to die of this wound. And Lancelot's, oh, I'm so sorry I wounded you.
This is one of the moments where it's hilarious, but still Lancelot is a good guy. He's like, oh shit, that's on me, man.
That's on me.
100% my mistake. I will help out here. My bad.
He's like, look, I've had a bad day. I was afraid of more treason because I was betrayed earlier. Like, come with me into your pavilion. Lie down.
I do think it's funny, like how handsome must Lancelot be that it wasn't until he protested that Sir Bellius was like, oh shit, you're not my girlfriend.
It was dark. Yeah.
Like, yeah, but I mean,
it's safe to assume this was a clean-shaven. Lancelot's clean-shaven
presumably a very muscular man.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not humongous, but lithe, like an athlete.
Yeah.
You know, he might look like a gymnast.
Maybe.
And he was handsome enough that in the dim light, under those covers, Sir Bellius was like, nice.
That's my lady.
I'm going to fuck that. You know, like, he's a good looking guy. All right. Bellius has some weird stuff to think through later tonight. He's like, I didn't hate that.
I didn't hate that. Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, so he helps Bellius into the pavilion, has him lie down, and starts treating his wounds, staunching the blood. So after that, Bellius's lady enters, a very beautiful woman, and when she sees that Bellius is wounded, she cries out. She starts yelling at Lancelot, really letting him have it. Like,
Fair.
you fucking asshole, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Fair.
And then Bellius is like, peace, my lady, my love. This knight is a good man. And he goes on to tell her how he got hurt and how when he yielded to Lancelot, he was kind enough to treat the wound.
This proves that Sir Bellius is a good dude.
Yeah.
He didn't have to.
He's like, look, it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
He's like, no, he's fine. He's fine. I forgive him.
And so this lady is like, sir, I require you tell me what kind of knight you are and what your name is. And he's like, fair lady, my name is Sir Lancelot du Lake. She's like, I thought so by the sound of your voice. I have seen you often before, and I know you better than you think. But now I would have you promise me for the harms you have done to my lord Bellius, that when he comes to Arthur's court, he shall be made a knight of the Round Table. For he is a very good man of arms, and he's a mighty lord of lands of many outer isles. Lancelot's like, fair lady, let him come to the court at the next high feast, and be sure you come with him, and I shall do whatever is in my power to make it so, because he's not the king.
Right. He can't make the decision for Arthur, but his recommendation's going to go a long way.
Yeah. And he'll probably leave out the why of things.
Well, yeah, that's
I imagine.
You don't want to. Maybe that's a thing that it's like, well, just him and Arthur are like having a little beer together. He's just like, so this crazy shit happened, dude. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
This is what happened. And then Arthur goes, that's pretty fucking funny. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, I'll make him a knight. Sure. Why not?
Yeah. Sounds pretty good.
So the chapter ends with them like spending the rest of the night, all three of them talking until like the first rays of dawn. And then Lancelot armors up, grabs his horse, and the lord and lady give him directions to the abbey, and then he rides there, and he gets there within 2 hours.
Yeah.
This chapter?
He was very close.
This chapter? 3 paragraphs.
Like every time there's a new idea, you have a new paragraph.
And
come on.
I fucking loved this moment. Like, it literally made me cackle. Like, just And I told everybody about it at rehearsal when I went, because I left my script at home. I was so distracted by this part of the story. I was like, man, this is gonna be a good story. This is only chapter 5.
Oh man, it is funny. That's probably the funniest.
Yeah, easily the funniest
Very
moment that happens in this,
Very
in this
rom-com.
story.
Chapter 6. How Sir Lancelot was received of King Bagdemagus' daughter, and how he made of his complaint to her father.
So as soon as Lancelot comes into the abbey's yard, the damsel who helped Lancelot escape, she heard hooves on the pavement outside, so she goes to the window. She sees Sir Lancelot. She quickly sends men to lead him and his horse into the stable. So one of the men, leads him to the stable, gets his horse sorted, takes him to a fairly nice bed chamber, and helps him take off his armor. And so then the damsel, she sent him clothes to change into. And then she went to see him once he was changed. And she cheered. She was like, "This is the one knight in the world that I'm most welcome to see." And then so she quickly sends for her father, King Bagdemagus, who was 12 miles away. So he arrives with a party of knights. And as soon as he gets off his horse, he goes straight to Lancelot's chamber. He sees his daughter. He hugs her. He sees Lancelot. He hugs Lancelot. And Bagdemagus is like, "How are you?" And Lancelot told him about how he was betrayed by these 4 queens and how his daughter had saved him. And he's like, "I will do her service and all of her family," which includes Bagdemagus.
Mm-hmm.
So the king's like, "So you're going to help me next Tuesday?" And Lancelot's like, "Yes, sir. I have promised my lady, your daughter, and I shall not fail you. But, sir, who are the knights of my lord Arthur that were with the king of North Galles?" So the king tells him they were Sir Mador de la Porte, Sir Mordred, and Sir Gahalantine. And neither he nor his knights could beat those 3. So this is interesting. One of King Arthur's men is Mordred.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Mordred. For those of you who don't know, Mordred is the incestuous bastard of King Arthur.
That's right. He did not know that Morgause was his sister, mother, or aunt. I don't know. Related. Sister was his sister, and in his male weakness, had a affair with her
Before he was married.
before he was married. But she was married.
She was.
She was married. She was a visiting dignitary, and he took it upon himself, his right as High King, to help himself to that. Not that she
Yep.
was unwilling by any means.
Yep.
And so she birthed a bastard son named Mordred. And in Arthur's all too human weakness, he tried to Pharaoh Ramses / King Herod.
Yeah, Merlin
all
gave him a
the
prophecy.
babies. Yeah.
Merlin gave him a prophecy that this bastard child would be the death of him. And so Arthur was like, "All right, I'm going to take all the babies born in May.
In England, all of them.
All of the babies. I'm going to stick them on a ship. Fuck them."
Yeah. They just kill him. Send him out to sea, let him die.
And they all died.
Except Mordred.
Yep.
So this is one of those interesting points that we'll get to as we get further into the book. But the prophecy, knowledge of the prophecy becomes the fulfillment of the prophecy.
Yeah.
If Merlin had just never said that, he never would have done that. And if he'd never done that, Mordred would have no reason to hate Arthur.
Yep.
It's because of that Mordred hates Arthur. And it's because of that hatred that Mordred will kill him.
Another good example of this kind of thing. That was Oedipus's downfall. If he
Yeah.
just stayed home, nothing would have happened.
Nothing would have happened.
Yeah.
So Mordred is on the opposing side.
So I'm
he is
not
a knight
sure.
of the round table.
I'm not sure. I actually highly doubt Lancelot has any of that context.
No, probably not.
He just learns that he's got 3 knights: Sir Mador, Sir Mordred, Sir Gahalantine. Those are the knights representing Arthur that are
Yeah.
helping the King of North Galles. So Lancelot's like, "Sir, since your tournament will be within 3 miles of here, you should send me 3 of your most trusted knights. You should send them with plain white shields, and a 4th one for me. The 4 of us will come out of the woods in between your knights and theirs, and we will face your enemy, and they will not know who I am." So that night, which was a Sunday, they rested. The king left that night, sent back 3 knights with the shields, and Lancelot requested. So they just hung out there until Tuesday. Tuesday morning, they readied themselves near the tournament. There was wooden scaffolds for seating, and there were a bunch of lords and ladies there watching, ready to give prizes.
Mm-hmm.
the king of Northgalis arrives with 160 knights. Arthur's knights were off to the side, the three of them. And then King Bagdemagus, he had 80 knights with him. So the two groups raise their spears, they charge each other. At the first pass, the first, collision of armies, well, maybe army's the wrong word. If it's...
I mean, it's technically correct.
Okay. 12 of Bagdemagus' knights died, but only 6 of the King of Northgalis' knights died.
Yeah, it means he's losing.
Yeah, so he was already at a disadvantage, but now it's an even more considerable advantage. So now Bagdemagus' army is 68 versus the King of Northgalis' 154.
Right.
And that's how this chapter ends. Would you like to take a guess how many paragraphs that was?
2.
No, it was 3.
3. Dang. I didn't give him enough credit.
Yeah. So that's how this goes. That's where this episode is going to end. At that moment.
With a cliffhanger.
With a bit of a cliffhanger. The start of a battle that Lancelot swore he would aid in. So, what are your thoughts of all this so far?
I really think the first part especially, but really the whole story of Lancelot is designed to express how good a person Lancelot is.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you just understand Lancelot in the context of well, he sleeps around with King Arthur's wife, then you're like, well, this guy's a shit dude.
Yeah.
He fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Now, that is a bad thing, and you should not like that about him. I'm not saying, Lancelot's great and everything he does is cool. But it's more complicated than that.
It's like that first episode of Mad Men, right? You see Don Draper going about living his life, right? And you have no idea what's going on with him until the end of the episode, and he goes home to his wife. Because at the start of that episode, he woke up in some random lady's bed.
Right.
We didn't know he was married. End of the episode, he goes home to his wife. It's like, oh shit, this cool, suave dude is an adulterer. God damn it.
It's terrible.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I think they're laying all this out to be like, Lancelot is not this one-dimensional bad guy, third wheel character.
Yeah.
He's a good man. He has good intentions. I also think it's important to remember that marriage in the, 15th century and before and for some time after wasn't about love most of the time.
No, it was
guess not. It wasn't about love the way we understand. We've talked about this a little bit.
There's a difference between royal love and romantic love.
Right.
Getting married is not about oh no, we love each other and we must be by each other's side all the time. No, it's about unions of houses and
Well, and I also don't want to imply that Arthur doesn't love Guinevere.
He specifically wanted to marry Guinevere.
Everything that Arthur does, more or less, is for her benefit.
Yeah.
And if the definition of love is to will the good of the other for its own sake, he's loving Guinevere all the time. Everything he does, he's like, this is for your good, not because it's good for me or because it somehow helps me, but because it's good for you. Yeah. And that's it. That's all he needs. It needs to be good for her. Mm-hmm. So he does love her in that way. Whether or not they have, a real spicy sex life, I would wager they probably don't, because otherwise Guinevere wouldn't be sleeping with another man.
And also by some interpretations of this story, it's not, I don't really get that impression from this version, but in some interpretations of the story, when they get married, Arthur's 12. So,
yeah, he's young.
Yeah. So she's not exactly going to be sleeping with him.
Right.
Now, from what we've been reading, though, I do get the impression that when Arthur got married, at minimum, he was 16. But I was picturing him at 22 or something.
Yeah, I would think probably older. 16 to 20, I think, would be a good range. Yeah, 22 would be fine. He was definitely young. I don't know what Guinevere's age would have been in comparison, but we know that Arthur thought she was beautiful.
Yeah.
He liked her.
Yeah. And Merlin straight up warned him, man.
He was like, she is destined to love another, and it's not you. And he was like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but that even in of itself speaks to a level of love where he's like, I understand that it won't be reciprocated. I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
So he's not even asking for it back. So that's a level of love that I think is good.
But even so, everything we've seen of Guinevere up to this point, she does, treat Arthur as you would expect a wife to treat a husband.
Yes. That's what I'm getting at, is I think the love between Guinevere and Arthur is not, I think there is love. I don't think they don't love each other.
Yeah.
I just think, like I had said before, this gets to the romantic idea of love in that it's not equivalent to the physical attraction that people feel for one another.
Yeah.
You know, Guinevere and Lancelot have that physical attraction, and to an extent, they do love each other in the same way that Arthur and Guinevere does. But I think one of the big points that Morte Arthur makes is that the kind of love that Arthur and Guinevere have is better.
Yeah.
Which is why their relationship doesn't lead to any problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's Lancelot and Guinevere's relationship that causes problems.
Yeah.
That's the lesser version, the version that becomes tainted by lust.
Yeah. Anyways, we will meet back in 2 weeks where we will be covering chapters 7 through 12. I want to go ahead and thank some people. I want to thank Midwest Studios for letting us use your space and your equipment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach, for recording with me.
Thank you, Ryan, for having me.
Thank you, Jacques, for being our sound guy. Jacques is nodding. We appreciate that.
You do not hear Jacques. That is because he's doing a fantastic job.
Catch you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Bye.